But now I don't see those cobbles and curbs. I don't hear the blues anymore.
Rough Trade is giving away a third of the first 3 months of the Rough Trade Club plus new music membership exclusively to 101 Part-Time Jobs listeners. Become a member of Rough Trade Club New Music and you'll receive the Rough Trade Album of the Month straight to your door every month on exclusive vinyl pressing with exclusive bonus material. Club members have received exclusive pressings of albums from Sufjan Stevens, Sprints, The Last Dinner Party, Julie Byrne, and Over Mono, just to name a few, this past year alone. Sign up using the promo code CLUB101POD and you'll get the Rough Trade Album of the Month, English Teacher's excellent debut album, This Could Be Texas, on exclusive Galaxy Gold for a third of the usual price. Here's English Teacher on a recent episode of 101.
How many opportunities do you get to write a debut album and have all of this, sport behind us? I don't know, I really like the idea of holding the bar as being like classic songs.
You only get one shot at a debut.
Don't want the album of the month but still want all the benefits? Sign up to the standard tier using Club 101 Pod and you'll still get the first month free. You'll also get free shipping on all orders, 10% off the bar and on secondhand vinyl in-store, and exclusive access to sold-out Rough Trade events. So don't hang around. Go to roughtrade.com/club and sign up with the code CLUB101POD. That's CLUB101POD and claim money off the album of the month, English Teachers This Could Be Texas, today. This offer's available to UK residents only. Do you play in bands? I did for the longest time. And I wish that I knew that DistroKid was a thing. I don't even think it existed back then. DistroKid makes music distribution fun and easy with unlimited uploads, and artists keep 100% of your royalties and earnings. 1 million plus artists rely on DistroKid to get their music on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, Instagram, and all the major streaming services. When you get DistroKid, you can see a DistroKid bank and withdraw your earnings. You get notified when you've earned royalties and you can withdraw via the app. And you can even check your streaming stats on Spotify and Apple. Get 30% off your first year on DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod. 30% off for your first year. That's not bad. We know it's a tough world out there. Why don't you make it easier for yourself? And to get 30% off that free year as an artist, where you get 100% of your royalties and earnings, go to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod. All right, stay with me. I'll be right back after this.
The Vietnam War, it's over. Your job has just begun.
A new HBO original limited series.
Welcome to the world of spycraft. Strap in.
From executive producers Park Chan-wook and Robert Downey Jr.
What are you concealing?
Based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Viet Thanh Nguyen.
What if I told you that I was a communist spy?
How did you become this?
The Sympathizer, streaming April 14th on Max. Subscription required.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, PrizePicks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the PrizePicks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on PrizePicks for a first deposit match of up to $100. PrizePicks, pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
All right, you're listening to 101 Part-Time Jobs with me, Giles Bidder. It's the show about gumption and elbow grease in music, people who make it happen for themselves. One person who has done that, who's doing that very well, is Bob Vylan. Just released his new record, Humble as the Sun. It's a record about self-belief, about empowerment, about using your own proof of concept to big yourself up. Excellent record, great sounds, good message, and he's built such an amazing community, him and drummer Bobby. At their shows, it goes off. It's a fun thing to be part of. A big fan. I spoke to him last night at Signature Brew here in London. Here's our chat coming up. If you like this show, make sure you subscribe, leave a review. If you got 30 seconds, that'd be massively appreciated. Cheers to our sponsors, 2000 Trees. Excellent festival in Cheltenham, just a few hours away on the train from London. It's happening this July, and the lineup is stacked. Bob Vylan's going to be there, of course. Better Lovers, Spanish Love Songs, the Gaslight Anthem, Manchester Orchestra, The Chats, Nova Twins, Creeper. Loads of amazing bands at 2000 Trees this year. It's this July. If you want to go, head to 2000trees.co.uk and use the voucher code 101pod to get 50 quid off your weekend ticket. Tickets are through Dice. There's a little section where you can input a promo code. 101pod is the promo code to put in there and get 50 quid off your weekend ticket to 2000 Trees, the best alternative camping festival in the UK. All right, we got Bobby Vylan coming up right now on 101 Part-Time Jobs. Cheers for listening. See you on the other side. 101 Part-Time Jobs.
So I just want to say thank you very much for coming out. We're going to start the same way we always start. That is with some light stretching, some meditation. It's an inside joke if you've been to one of the live shows. If you haven't, then you won't know about it, eh?
Fire exits there and there. And that's a good point, actually. You can order drinks, alcohol-free drinks, alcohol drinks from your seat here. We want everyone to feel comfortable tonight. If you want to get up and go to the loo, go and do that. Does it hurt you when you floss? Have you got, because there's the whole thing that you start, but it's really painful, but it gets less painful as you go on, I've heard.
What, with flossing?
Yeah. And I'm not talking...
You're not talking like that floss? Like what my niece and nephews used to do? That's not cool anymore, though. Yeah, there's new stuff in that. There's new stuff.
That's why they call it flossing, because that little bit of string, that's what it's doing between your teeth if you've got a microscope. It's
flossing,
doing that.
it's doing that little move.
Yeah.
I don't find it painful when I floss. I don't really have sensitive gums.
That's the quote.
I ain't got sensitive gums. I've got good teeth, man. Never had a cavity, never had a root canal or nothing like that.
And you brush them? You brush them day and night?
Oh, yeah, of course. Do you not?
No.
Yeah.
No, I brush them just at night time.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
I've never had problem. I've never had two problems.
No, you don't.
No, I do, yeah.
Show of hands. Who here brushes their teeth morning and night? Who does it just morning? Wow. Who does it just night? Rah.
Who does it after a meal? Okay, yeah, all right. Good.
Oh yeah, it's funny how people live differently.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
It's like, it's so interesting.
101 part-time jobs.
We've just like, that's a pretty good sample size, I think, like for a survey. Yeah, mad, bro. But I'm glad that most people are with me in like the morning and night. That's kind of like, I feel like that's...
You grew up like hygiene. Is that because your family were hygienic? Like you were... Where does it come from, man?
I love that. Yeah, my family were quite hygienic, actually. I don't know.
I was on the farm. We were on the farm.
Normal. It's just that, though. Hold on. What were we talking about?
I think we were talking about...
Oh, yeah, TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. That's what we were talking about.
Boring. That's a bad question from me. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, this record, I just told you then before we went on stage, but you talked about how this record is to empower yourself. I think we feel empowered when we hear you empowering yourself. You know, that's the kind of human nature. When someone else is doing something for themselves, it kind of gives us a permission to do it for ourselves.
Yeah, I've definitely found that. That's one of the reasons why the album is what the album is, because there are artists and creatives that I've looked to for inspiration outside of like the sonics and like what the music sounds like, or the themes and the topics, and more of like how they conduct their business, for example. That's like a big one for me, and obviously like the independent nature of Bob Vylan, I look to other independent artists, to see how they're able to continue growing as an artist without compromising their morals or their ethics. I mean, in an industry and in a landscape that doesn't really provide you much opportunity to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's at every point it's kind of trying to force you more and more and more into being something that you might not necessarily be. And so I look to those artists that have, you know, empowered themselves through an independent hustle, an independent nature, or whatever, an independent mindset, and I find great inspiration from that. You know,
that is exactly what this podcast is about. You know, it's not even just like being defiant as an independent artist. You know, because people do try and put their thumb on your head or try and define you, try and put you in a box, and that's for them and not for you. You know, it's sometimes it's funny how like the music industry, in my opinion, can actually kind of like eat itself and work against itself. There's not much celebration of people doing their own thing, and the people who have got through to the next stage or whatever that next stage is, it all comes to each and everyone's own definition of that. But it's those people who are just resilient, who are just stubborn. Do you feel like you've had to be stubborn?
Yeah, I said this the other day. I feel like I had to be delusional. I had to be delusional to believe in myself. I had to be delusional to think that this would work, because so many people told me that it wouldn't, and I suppose like I continue to be delusional, you know, because otherwise I don't think I would feel so entitled to a Mercury Prize. Yeah,
you got posters. We didn't say it earlier, but some of those posters up and around, if you haven't seen them, is the lyric.
Bob Vylan got robbed for the Mercury. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, because you know, but like I have to believe that within myself. Do you know what I mean? I have to believe that like I'm creating something that is worthwhile. Otherwise, what's the point of me doing it? But also, like so many people didn't believe in the band, and I tried for so long to get people to believe in the band, but actually I didn't need that. What I needed was for me to believe in it, and that's it. And so when I stopped focusing my attention outward and trying to like make people see the vision that I had, right, and like, oh, trust me, like this is it naturally just like drew people in that did believe in it. And now we have like an incredible team around us of people that understand the vision. So on all fronts, like, you know, our PR, like they understand that we don't have the budget that maybe some of their other artists have, right? Because they might be on a bigger label or whatever. But they believe in us, and we've worked with them for ages, you know, and we've grown together. And so, as I'm able to pay them more for the job that they do, I do so. Do you know what I mean? And same with like all of our live stuff. So like, you know, our tour manager / drum tech / life coach is, you know, he's here today, and like he's like, you know, he's incredible help. But like he taught Lil Bob how to play the drums, right? Like
Did
that.
he?
Yeah. Like
he was Lil Bobby's drum.
Yeah, he
drum
was Lil
teacher.
Bob's drum teacher like years ago. And then, you know, we needed somebody to drum tech, and then we needed somebody to tour manage, and then it just kind of grew. Mm-hmm. And now he's an instrumental part of the team. Mm-hmm. And same with like, you know, a photographer and social media person. So like, and our sound person as well, someone like Grant, like we met him just randomly at a day festival that we were doing. And when it came time of like, oh, we need a live sound engineer. We just gave him a call, sat with him, said, okay, cool, we could sit in the van with him for a couple of hours, right? Like, he seems like a nice guy. And then it just grew, and this relationship grew, and like, they believed in it earlier on, because we believed in it, you know? And I think that's one of the most important things that I've learned, is that you don't need everybody to believe in it. You need to believe in it first, and a handful of people will slowly come to join you, and then it will start to, like, you know, branch out, and more people will start to see the vision and see the goal. Nobody champions the crazy thing that's happening until the crazy thing is like this huge thing, right? Like, I remember meeting Ed Sheeran when he was unsigned and still playing shows in like bars and stuff, and he had the loop pedal. And Ginger, white kid from Framlingham, which is up the road from Ipswich, which is partly where I grew up. So I met him at a pub in Ipswich, and I saw him doing the show, and people thought he was insane, bro. White ginger kid from Framlingham, singing with the acoustic guitar, but also kind of rapping. Do you know how crazy? Like, at that time, it was absolutely insane. People thought he was nuts, and I remember seeing it and thinking, like, I was just blown away, because I was like, wow, how's he doing all of that? Like, I was more focused on the technical thing. I couldn't care what the music sounded like. I was just like, how's he doing all of that with one, like, just one person? But people thought he was insane. But then it worked. Like, something, you know what I mean, popped off, and it built and it built and it built. And everybody then was, yeah, Ed Sheeran, like, this guy is so fantastic. Bro, he was on that circuit for years.
Yeah. There's this kind of huge middle ground of artists that don't get to that level. You know, most people don't. And you don't hear about those people. You don't really hear about the people who work the side jobs consistently, who are, you know, you're at a level that you're not working side jobs, are you?
No, I don't work a side job. I wouldn't have time to work a side job and do what I do like now.
So you're at the cream. You're in the kind of probably the 1%.
I feel incredibly lucky. Like, I realize, like, I feel incredibly blessed every single day. Like, I get to do something that I've wanted to do since I was a child, you know? And I've worked at it since I was a child. Do you know what I mean? You
were handing out your own CDs, selling them on the road?
I did all of that. I did all of, like, making mixtapes and all of that, and selling them, and, like,
did your older sister, you were doing something with the karaoke machine? And
my sister taught me how to MC, basically. Like, at a time when it was like grime and stuff like that, my sister taught me how to essentially, like, rap on beat. So I wasn't all over the place. She counted me in, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, here. And I was like, okay, cool, I get it. And then, like, that was when I was a kid. I've been working at this forever. Do you know what I mean? And not a day goes by where I take it for granted. I think I'm incredibly blessed. But obviously a lot of hard work goes into it. Even now, like, the amount of emails that I reply to personally that I'm on, it's not like I'm here, like, I don't know. I would have assumed a couple of years ago, if you have won an award like that, and if you've charted there, and if you play that size venue or whatever, then you no longer do any of, like, the heavy lifting. But I was so wrong. Do you know what I mean? I didn't realize, actually, in order to make it something where I can actually, you know, get by and pay my rent and stuff on, I have to continue doing that heavy lifting. Do you know what I mean? I'll get up and I work every single day. Every single day. And so little of it is actually spent in the studio making music. Bro, like, so much of it is just spent doing so many things. It's just like accounting, like like making sure budgets are in order, making sure invoices are paid, making sure vinyl and CD are getting to the warehouse that they need to get to. Like, all sorts of things, like getting t-shirt designs, like, done, getting t-shirts printed, making sure that the printer has sent the right amount of t-shirts to the right Warehouse, all of that stuff. And then like when they haven't, it's me chasing it up. It's not anybody else, you know. And so all of that stuff, along with, hey guys, new album is coming out, and make sure you get, you know, and then like, and then you know, shooting the album cover, coming up with what the album cover looks like, and drawing it out and being like, this is what it's gonna, all of that, as well as making the music. And there was a time when I was mixing it and I was doing all, like, it was just, you know,
Can you remember?
full on.
Can you imagine a world where you didn't have to do all of that? I mean, I'm thinking like in Australia and in Canada, they have more supportive systems for musicians.
Right.
The government can give money to help record albums. You know, Britain as a country that's like Oasis, Blur, Stones, Beatles. As an artist now, there is no real support, nurturing, inspiration, like physical stuff, just like maybe a like dole money or something if you can prove you play a certain amount of shows a year. You know, just 100 quid a week would make such a difference for thousands of people playing music.
Yeah, I mean, this country doesn't really care about the arts. Like, it doesn't, like, I mean, the government of this country doesn't really care about the arts. Like, it doesn't value them. So, I mean, that's why the maths teacher is teaching music. Do you know what I mean? It's like, they're cutting all of that. They've been cutting all of that. That's why, like, the youth clubs that had, like, the workshops to learn to DJ or produce or whatever, play guitar, and you could maybe start a band. Well, they're non-existent. It's just the country doesn't really, you know, the government doesn't really care about it, doesn't value it. Remember, was it during COVID when they were like retraining?
Yeah.
The retraining adverts came out, and it's just like, if you were a ballerina, you might want to retrain. If you were a dancer, do you know what I mean? It's like, if you're a musician, you might want to like think about getting a real job. It's like, well, okay, that kind of tells you all you need to know. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't really see it as anything worthwhile. But me, I don't know. It would sound great. I would have so much more time if I didn't have to focus on all of that stuff. But then, I don't know. It is what I know, and so it is what I do. Do you know what I mean?
There's a bigger picture there, I think, as well, because it's not just about the individual musician. It's the label, or it's the booking agent, or it's us coming to shows. There are always going to be different scenes in small towns. If you live in a commuter belt town, and they'll have that one promoter, that guy or girl a few years older than you at school that puts on gigs at your local community centre, and then they go off to uni or they go live somewhere else, and that scene disappears. Like what you're saying there about how the government in Britain obviously doesn't care about the arts, that has such a huge knock-on effect to that one 15-year-old in Worthing who needs something to do on a Friday night that keeps them out of trouble, gives them something creative to do, something positive to look forward to, and try and build a career in the arts.
But I do think to a certain extent, though, is like, if you want to do it, you will do it. Because I didn't have a ton of access to things that like got me to, do you know what I mean? Like that helped me get to this. Like I kind of just had like a delusional attitude towards things of like, no. I see fucking Hanson on the TV and they look about the same sort of, or whatever, do you know what I mean? Like they're all young and singing boom bop. And I thought, well, if they could do that, then why couldn't I do it? And it was just always that way. I saw So Solid Crew on the TV and I thought, they're English, they're going to collect their MOBO award. Why couldn't I do that? Why would I not be able to do that? Like, so I do think...
If you want it enough.
To a certain extent, yeah. I mean, like, obviously things are situational and circumstantial, and like some people, they're going to be in, like, I'm lucky, whatever, I had a sister that would teach me how to rap on beat. If I didn't, maybe I'd spend my whole life rapping off beat. Like, I don't know. So obviously, you never know how like little things might have played a part in the whole bigger picture. But I do think that despite the government's lack of interest or care for the arts, if that's what you want to do, that will not stop you. Because when does the government's lack of interest in your life stop you from doing anything else? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I didn't see the government said that like you can't steal. I saw plenty of people teething when I was young. Do you get me? It's like, we don't care, bro.
What's teething?
We're stealing.
Right.
It's like, it's not flossing.
Yeah.
He thought we were going on to oral hygiene again. He thought, this is where the big bucks are. But you know,
I'm looking for a new sponsor. You know? Oral B.
Oral B. There you go. Yeah. Listerine.
Oral B sounds quite a good MC name. Actually,
actually guarantee you there's a garage MC out there, someone, or a drum and bass MC called Oral B. Absolutely, Barry. Oral B. His real name is Barry, but as he calls himself Oral B, absolutely guarantee, 100%, 100%.
Can we say, you know, you've hidden your identity this whole time?
Yeah, I don't know if I've hidden it. Like, I'm not like Batman. Like.
No, but like, people don't know your date of birth, name, or like any of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like,
was that a decision early on? You were like, this is the way we're going to do it?
Ooh, I don't know if it was like a conscious decision. I'm not sure. Like, I can't really remember if it was a conscious decision. But I suppose as things went on, it's just like, if you like the music that we're making, and you know, I'm sat here before you, and like, I don't know, you can find something in what I'm saying, take that as like what I'm willing to give you, and I suppose like be appreciative of that as I am appreciative of what other people give me that they decide to give me. Like, if you go into the coffee shop and you get your coffee and you have a conversation with the guy or the girl person behind the counter, and you like the coffee in there, you love the coffee in there, you don't need to know where that person grew up, if that person's got a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife, or where they live or what they do on the weekend, or their date of birth, their full name, social security number, all of that. Like, what do you know to know? The coffee's good. Do you get me? If the coffee is good over here, take the coffee. If not, go down the road and get it somewhere else. And that's kind of how I feel with it. It's like, if you like what we're doing, take what we give you. Because I also see there can sometimes be an entitlement that we all have when we feel a connection with someone to know everything about that person. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like that's an unhealthy thing to have. I feel like it's an unhealthy thing to want to know everything about somebody. I also feel like it's an unhealthy thing to give everything to somebody. Mm-hmm.
Like in a 50-minute podcast.
Exactly. And we're talking about my oral hygiene. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, like, I don't know. Like, so for example, like, it took a long time for me to bring my daughter on stage, right? Because I kind of, like, that's the most important thing to me ever in this whole entire world. Like, you know, like, that's my whole life. But then in, you know, Making Dream Big, for example, and I put her on the record, she's on that song, and I don't know, like, we were talking and stuff, and I thought, you know what, it would be nice if we could share some of these moments together that I'm having, and like playing Kentish Town Forum, for example. It's like, this is a big moment for me. She's been an incredible inspiration for me and a driving force in me going so hard in making this band work. I thought it would be nice to be able to share these moments with her, mm-hmm. if she wants to. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she was like, yeah, cool, like, I'll come on stage. And like, sometimes she comes to the festivals or the shows or whatever, and she's like, I'm just chilling today. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes she was like,
you give her the choice.
Yeah. And if she's like, yeah, cool, I'll come up, then she comes up. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it took me a long time to do that. But even now, like, she comes on stage our social media, Rhiannon, our social media person, like she'll film it and stuff, and she'll give me that footage. But she'll say, "Oh, in the recap, in the thing of the night, like, do you want her to be in the thing?"
choice.
I say, nah. Like, don't put her in that video. It's like if we were at the show, then we're at the show, and that's what we got to experience all together. I don't want to blast her all over the internet and da da da. Do you know what I mean? She's a young kid. People on the internet are weird, and like, do you know what I mean? And also, she might say, "Yeah, cool. Like, I don't mind if you post a picture of me on it," but then that's there forever. And so when she gets older, and she might not want that up there. So I'm just mindful of those things. I feel quite fortunate that I don't have like an image to upkeep. Do you know what I mean? Like,
in terms of like political views and
just anything. Like I don't know. Like, I can't imagine what it's like to be a pop star and you can't go on camera without everything that, like, do you know how I got my hair retwisted for the first time in ages on Wednesday or whatever, because I was like, I've got an album coming out, I should probably look somewhat clean as it gets a bit fluffy and that, do you know what I mean? But I'll go on camera without it, it's just whatever. I don't have an image to upkeep, and like the same way that I talk now is the same way that I talk with my friends and thing. I can't be bothered. I just wouldn't, and I wouldn't be able to keep it up. I wouldn't be able to keep it up. And I think that's what we see sometimes, where like the mask slips on an artist or someone that like maybe we're looking up to or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And maybe you go, oh, they're actually really like that. It's like, I'm just Bob. Do you get me? And I don't know. I just get on and just do my stuff and make my music, and some people like it and some people don't, and that's it. I don't know.
Some things you said are in your lyrics, like choose between health and your rent. It's interesting how that is common sense, but when you say it from a platform, it sounds so radical.
Yeah, I mean, like paying for the rent or paying for the food,
and
or
living
whatever,
in that flat where you had mold and
yeah, you're talking about on Get Yourself a Gun, right, on the new album.
Yeah, and the new record.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. I mean, again, that stuff is like, that's like real life stuff. So like, you know, when my partner was pregnant, we lived in a flat where there was mold. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you moved in, it was nice, whatever. But then you realise, and we didn't know shit. We're kids with a kid on the way. Do you know what I mean?
You don't know where the boiler is.
Knew nothing, bro. Knew nothing.
Trip switch.
Didn't know how to bleed a radiator. Didn't know nothing, bro.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like we lived in a flat, no double glazing. I could afford it because I had a student loan that I was, do you know what I mean? Which is really one of the only reasons why I even went to uni, because I was like, I could get a student loan, and I kind of didn't want to continue with some of the career options that I had at the time. And so, you know, we lived in a place, and winter come, double glazing isn't there, and it's just fucking bullshit windows, and there's mold and da 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 da. And one day we're out, the extractor fan catches fire in the bathroom because the landlord fucking fixed a dodgy one in there with like a handyman that kind of like, he would do everything. You know, like if one person does every job, they don't know how to do any job, bro. Like, they don't know how to do it. Even I have to delegate certain things. Do you get me? And so I'm like, I see this motherfucker come in and like, here be the painter, here be that. And he would bleed the radiator, he would change the thing and da-da-da-da-da. Do you know what I mean? Like, he put an extractor fan in the bathroom. We went out, it caught fire, neighbor rung me, yeah, there's a fire at your place, I think there's smoke coming out, we were far away, we come back, see fire brigade is like broken into the house to like extinguish it or whatever, everything's black, walls are black, clothes black, covered in, like, it's just crazy, and we got like a newborn baby at the time, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, no one's taught me this. I don't know what to do, and I don't have anywhere to go to. Like, I don't know. I have nowhere to go, so I don't know what happens now.
That's terrifying.
That's a terrifying thing, yo. As two kids with a newborn baby is absolutely terrifying, and the landlord just did not care. I'd never met the landlord before any of this. I never saw him. I was talking to the estate agent, as they like to keep a thing in between. I was, you need to pass me on to the landlord. It's bad in there, bro. Like, there was a fire. You get me? Someone is gonna have to come and clean this shit up. And I managed to talk to I was talking to the estate agent, and I was getting quite irate, and I say, yo, look, you don't know what damage has been done in the place yet. So if I go back there and I burn it further, you're not going to know what was done before and after. 5 minutes later, my phone rang, and it was the landlord.
Yeah.
So
You're smart. That's good.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
What were you doing when you were studying? Were you doing part-time jobs then? I mean, music doesn't pay until you get to a certain point. I'm seeing you grin there. You're grinning. You're an entrepreneur. You sell T-shirts.
I did sell T-shirts, yeah. I've always worked for myself. Except I have had moments. Look, the work that I've done throughout my life has been honest work. Just because it's whatever, it may fall outside of the realms of what is considered a 9 to 5, does not mean it's not honest work. And I've had moments where I did. I worked at a Carphone Warehouse for about 2 weeks. Yeah. I worked at a call center for maybe a week and a half. I found it so hard. I worked at a bar for about maybe 2 weeks.
What did you find hard? Was it the time?
Nah.
Was it like I could be doing something better?
I mean, to a certain extent, but it was more. I suppose, like, the feeling that I had of, like, you see the way people talk to people in
a service scenario.
Oh man, it's just
wrong,
it can be brutal. Like, I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know how to deal with that.
How do you deal with it though?
I quit, bro.
You tell them to shut up.
Oh nah, no, don't do that. I don't. But that's the thing.
You're not rude.
Nah. I leave before it gets to that point. That's what I had to. I've always had to do that because I that's a skill that I do not have. I don't possess that skill of being like. I don't know, like some people, they'll go to work and then like they'll come home and they'll be like, my boss is such a dick. They said da 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 da. And I get it, like, you know, people have to do, you have to do what you have to do. And I've been in those positions. Do you know what I mean? I've done what I've had to do, but I've just always felt like I'll find something else. Like if I have to stay here and that person is going to talk to me like that, I'll just do something else.
I think a lot of people have the fear that they couldn't do something else.
Yeah, no, I don't have that fear. Like even if I don't do music, I'll do something else. Whatever I want to do, I can go and do that. I just firmly believe that. And so, and as well, it's like, you know, I was working at Carphone Warehouse, and I just thought, well, I'm not gonna be here forever, and so if I quit today, it doesn't matter. So, you know, and I had a kid as well, but like I always found a way to provide. Always found a way to make money. And you know, I took my student loan, for example, and it wasn't like, oh, I was just I don't know, I weren't like a out and out like hooligan, do you know what I mean? Just like whatever. I was always smart with things. I took my student loan, for example, and I saw vintage clothing was becoming really popular, but vintage designer clothing was becoming extremely popular. And then I'm lucky that my dad, growing up, I saw my dad buying a lot of vintage clothing. It weren't vintage at the time, it was brand new, do you get me? But like, he was buying like a lot of Moschino and a lot of Versace and a lot of Iceberg, and like all of these kind of like cool, like Armani and all of these things. He was a plasterer, so don't ask me how he got the money to do but you know, so I saw like, oh, okay, these are like, they're nice clothes, right? Like, I was always fascinated by them. And he would give me, I remember he gave me a jacket before, and I was like, yeah, I was a kid, I didn't, you know what I mean? But I just knew, yeah, this is nice. And so I took my student loan and I started buying vintage pieces like this one that I'm wearing. This is like this would be from like early 90s. This two-piece.
What is that?
This is Moschino. So I would buy pieces from like eBay. I would go to second-hand shops, you know what I mean, like charity shops. I'd find vintage wholesalers, and I would travel around. Like, I was doing all of the jobs. I was buying the clothes, I was sourcing them. I'm trying to make relationships with people that, like, I would be the first person that they ring if they get this thing in.
Who are these people? Like, people we see on the market or shops?
So
who are these folks?
So like, some of them, like, for example, there was one in South London somewhere. I think it was in Peckham, and it was just like, it weren't too dissimilar to like a space like this. It was just a massive warehouse with just crates and crates of things, and it was like women's wear, men's wear, and I just go through all day. And some days I'll go through and I wouldn't find anything, and some days I'll find one piece or I'd find a couple of pieces. I'd look on Gumtree, and someone that's like selling their son's clothes or something, like he's moved out and they've just left, oh, I don't know, he doesn't want these things. And I'd travel from whatever, South London where I lived at the time, to North London, or I'd travel to fucking Guildford, wherever it is, and I'd go and pick up one piece. But that one piece was getting sold. Someone went, oh, it's £30. I said, cool, I'll take that £30 and I'll go and sell it for £300, because that's what the market said. Do you know what I mean? And
you're like the Nightcrawler. You're like the Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler of London vintage clothes.
I mean, it's the first time I've been described as such, but I'll take it.
He's a good actor.
Yeah. But that's what I did. So I did that with my student loan, and I made the website, and I made the Instagram account, and like I promoted the website through the Instagram account, and I made it like some people were selling through Instagram, and I always thought, that's dodgy, man. Like, I don't know about people wanting to do that, right? So I made a website because I thought that would look more official. So I made a website. You could pay through PayPal, and that's what I did. And I did that when I was at uni so that I didn't have to get a summer job. I saw everybody else getting a summer job, and I thought, oh, actually, I could do this and I could avoid that. I could just about avoid it if I was very careful, do you know what I mean? And also, it was a little self-serving because I enjoy these clothes, do you get me? So I was like, some pieces I can keep for myself, and then some pieces I can sell and I can make money, do you know what I mean? And then with that, I started to make enough money then that I started printing my own T-shirts. And so I started printing my own T-shirts.
With your own design?
Yeah, with my own designs.
That you made?
Yeah, that I would make on Photoshop and Illustrator. And then I started like a separate website and a separate Instagram account, and used the one that I'd established to promote this one. And because it was easier, because I realized people started clocking on, and like the vintage stuff just got saturated, and it became harder and harder and harder to find pieces, and it became harder to find pieces that I could get for cheap enough to sell for, do you know what I mean, enough to make money. So I thought, okay, cool, if I create my own designs, I can just do as much as I want, do you know what I mean? So that's what I started doing, t-shirts and hoodies, and I did that for a while, and again, that provided me like another year or two of without getting a summer job and stuff at uni, and allowed me to be at home with my partner and my daughter, and not have to go to like an office or a bar or whatever.
A lot of those skills are transferable to being in a band.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of those skills came from things I was doing before. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just learning these things and figuring out what it is that I can put into what I'm doing now. So maybe one day if I don't do music, or I'm not in a band, or we don't want to play anymore, what have I learned? And so that's what I'm doing with the record label, with Ghost Theatre. Is like everything that I'm doing for Bob Vylan, one day I'll go and do that for other bands as the record label. So learning how to chart register an album, for example, I had no idea how to do that. I had no clue. And I rang everybody to figure out, how do you chart register an album? How do I make sure that if it gets sold, if enough units get sold, it's going to land in the charts? I figured out how to do it, and that was on the last album, On the Price of Life. Lo and behold, it's in the charts.
Number 18.
And so now I know how to do that. So of course, done the same thing with this album. And then when we have someone on the label, on Ghost Theatre, I will know how to do that for them. I won't need to do it for myself anymore, because maybe we're on a hiatus or something, or whatever. And all of these things, putting together things for press, or shooting music videos, or all of this stuff that I've done, I'll use it for other bands.
No one teaches that. I mean, maybe like at some music schools, some music business schools, they teach that. But learning it yourself and learning to actually like do it and make it work.
Again, it's that thing of like, when I saw Hanson or when I saw So Solid Crew, which I understand are two very different artists, but like they're the ones that just made so much impact on me. Like they left such an imprint on me. But like when I saw them, I thought I could do that. So I suppose I just hope that if somebody is in a band and or is an artist or whatever, and they see Bob Vylan, I hope that they see us and think I could do that. Especially because we don't have the label, and we don't have this huge budget, and we don't have all of these things. And hopefully somebody sees what I saw and thinks the same thing that I thought, and has that same determination, do you know what I mean, to do the thing that they love. And I know that it has helped some people do that already, because I have conversations with people, and they express as much, so it's good. And that's kind of like what we should be doing, really, is like inspiring each other to go for the thing that you want to do. Life is so short, bro. It's so short, and I never wanted to spend it at Carphone Warehouse. I didn't want to do that. Do you get me? And like for some people that's cool, but I just didn't want to do that, and so I just decided not to quit. And that's really, I think it's kind of like the main thing, is that I just didn't quit. I didn't quit when everybody was calling me crazy and it's not going to work and all of that. I just didn't quit.
It's becoming more and more out there. Like last week or the week before, there were lots of bands and labels and managers in Parliament at Westminster talking about how do we keep independent venues like the one we're in today a lot, like keep going, because there's so many different venues that around the UK are struggling, and those are scenes, those build up exactly what you do, what I do, what everyone here is a big fan of. Do you have any like opinions or big like ideas about how we can? I don't want to use the word save. It sounds a bit sensationalist, doesn't it? But how do you keep that stuff in the front of people's minds? You know, because things like that do need the public support.
Yeah, they do, and because they need public support, they should have government support, but we're never going to get that, so we can't rely on it.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
You don't think that they'll, even with the Labour government, none of that stuff will happen?
What Labour government, bro? I don't see no Labour.
Yeah. Keir Starmer's.
You not seen a Labour government around here? I haven't seen a Labour government, bro. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
We're not going to get that. We're not going to get governmental help. So it's for us to do for self, right? So, again, like yeah, of course, like the public have to do something, but as artists, we also have to, like, it's for us. It's on us, right? So.
You think it's your responsibility?
Yeah, if you care about independent music venues, then yeah, 100%. Like, if you don't, then no, I guess not. But like, we made our bones playing independent music venues. That's how we came up. Our first show was at the Beehive in Bow, the back of a pub. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
that's a good pub.
It is. It's all right.
It's scary. All right. I like scary pubs.
It's where we also shot. We Live Here in that was the pub that we shot We Live Here in. And you know, like playing 100 Club, for example, like that was a big moment for us. You look on the wall and you see all the artists that have played there and you're like, wow, they're gonna let me play here. So it's important to make sure that like you're going back to places like that. And obviously it gets hard because there becomes, like, that is when the business side of stuff enters and your agent starts to go, well, you can't play that small venue in London because we're going to put on a bigger show in London and that's going to hurt the sales and da-da-da-da-da. But you just, I don't know, it's just like finding clever ways to go about doing that. Do you know what I mean? And so, again, on Friday, we did 2 shows. We did Prism, the bigger venue. Then we did Fighting Cocks the same night. Is 150 cap, probably the biggest show that they'll have there this year. Do you know what I mean? And everybody's excited. The venue's excited. We're excited because we get to go and play these small venues again where there's no barrier, which is something that we love. And, you know, when you do like a Kentish Town Forum and stuff like that, it's great because you can have the production and we get sparklers and smoke machines and we've got the lights and da-da-da-da. But there's a distance between us and the crowd, and that's you get used to it, but it's not how we started. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we do Fighting Cocks. There's no barrier, and people are, you know, they're like pushed onto the stage or what can be considered a stage. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas with Prism, there wasn't that, and you saw 2 very different shows, both enjoyable in their own way, but. You know, Fighting Cocks, that's a great night for everybody. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And for the venue, it's brilliant. So finding ways to do that is, I think it is important for artists that did make, especially if you did make your come up was through those smaller venues, then yeah, it's definitely important. Some artists, they don't have that. They don't have that history, right? Like their first show was, I don't know, supporting fucking Rolling Stones or something because so-and-so is their manager and whatever, I don't know. Like, but we didn't have that. We built it so slowly through these venues. So for us, it's important. And we are, what do you call it, like patrons of the Music Venue Trust.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I spoke at one of their events a couple of years ago, and like, you know, they email us regularly and we try to find things that we can help with, and you know what I mean, when we can and when it makes sense. But yeah, like little things, they go a long way. We can't rely on the government to help us with that. I do think it is on the artists, and I don't know, we'll continue to find ways to do that, and hopefully other bands will, and we can maybe stop, but at the very least slow down the speed by which some of these venues are closing. Do you know what I mean?
Can you imagine a world in 20 years' time, 50 years' time, totally plausible, that bands won't be playing at the Beehive, or bands won't be playing at Fighting Cocks?
I don't know. I suppose if those venues are not there, then yeah, of course. But like, I do know that you can't wait for anybody to save you. I know that much, and you definitely can't wait for the government to save you. So, I know you better save yourself, help yourself, because it's cold out there, bro.
Hey, Bobby, thanks so much for this chat. We're getting just past 9 o'clock, which is the cut-off time. But thank you so much for being up for this.
I think, thank you.
You know, I am going to say this because it's my night, but these conversations are important because this is how we, you know, since the dawn of time, this is how, as a society, as a species, this is how we function, by communicating and being together ultimately. Because I think now, you know, more and more we are more alone and looking at our screens inside and not going out or hearing stories. So I appreciate the time. Thanks for the conversation.
You. Have you enjoyed it?
It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
It's Bob Vylan on 101 Part-Time Jobs.
Thank you.
This is my second theme tune. So that was Bobby Vylan on a live episode of 101 Part-Time Jobs. We'll have some more coming up, I think. I need to book some, but they're probably going to be in London. Head to 101parttimejobs.com/live to see if there's any up there, but probably follow us on the socials. That's the best shout. We're on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, so go follow us there. Find out about upcoming live shows. Do come along. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, make sure you subscribe. We put out 2 episodes a week. Some with bands you've heard of, others with artists that you might not have, that I think are fucking great and are worth speaking to and hearing their story. That's what we're trying to do here on 101 Part-Time Jobs. Cheers for listening. If you're in a band or you're an artist and you want to put out your own records, you can do it through DistroKid. Get 30% off your first year by going to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod and get all your own earnings. Get all your own royalties, all the money, all the streams that come through, everything that comes through Spotify and TikTok and everywhere else your music's playing. Get all your own money just for a simple yearly fee from DistroKid. Head to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod to get 30% off that fee for your first year and start dripping it in.
101 Part-Time Jobs is hosted by Giles Bidder and produced by me, Olivia Swash. Audio engineering was by Lucy Hookway. The episode's live video was recorded by Eva Nagengast and Nick Steinkamp. Thanks to Claire Condorcet and the team at Signature Brew.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.